After 2 decades, a family reunion. A mother from Mexico flies to the United States to see her daughter, an undocumented immigrant, and the American-born grandchildren she's never met. Each lives through illegal immigration in their own way. Isabel Gil, an undocumented immigrant in the US, was ecstatic to embrace her mother, Imelda, allowed to visit through a Mexican-US cooperative program to facilitate such reunions. They hadn't seen each other in person since Isabel fled her troubled home state of Michoacán 20 years ago.
A person comes to this country because they want a better life for their children. In Michoacán, there is a lot of murder and kidnapping. I'm scared of being forced to live through something like that.
2 decades in the States have allowed her to settle here, and today she's raising 3 US-born children who met their grandmother for the first time in person. Before she had children, Isabel worked cleaning houses. But she says the more she got established in the US, the more uneasy she became.
For the first few years, I was fine. I wasn't scared. But my children arrived, and when my husband would go out to work, I began to be terrified that he wouldn't come home at night, that the police would stop him. And from then, you start to live in fear.
Today, with the Trump administration's more aggressive anti-immigration policy, deportation is a daily concern. Paula Chavarro is a US immigration attorney and says undocumented immigrants like Isabel have little chance of legalizing their status.
There are a lot of obstacles for people to really get legal. Once you enter illegally, it's almost impossible to become legal. A lot of them are afraid of buying a home. Even if they have the money to do so, they are afraid of investing in business because they're here today and they could be deported fairly soon.
For Isabel and her family, the threat of a forced return to Mexico is real, and it's something they talk about.
If you are forced to go, then you have to accept it. But as long as you can be here, you stay. The oldest tells me that I should go alone and that he'll come and visit me when he's older. But I wouldn't allow it. No way. Wherever I go, they come with me.
For Isabel, one of America's estimated 11 million undocumented immigrants, it's a life lived on the edge.
You have to live in the moment and hope that when you leave the house in the morning, you'll return again at night, because you never know.
For Isabel, deportation would mean losing everything. So with no real prospects for immigration reform, she sees this life in limbo as her best option, living among the undocumented in America. Alistair Baverstock, CGTN, from both sides of the US-Mexico border.